Hi guys. So it is Saturday, April 4th, and I realized of how much I wanted to do a little podcast this week. However, due to the current situation and as a mental health professional, I was extremely busy, which I guess makes me think about how busy our lives as professionals will become in the next few weeks. I think the first responders are unbelievable in sense of their jobs and what they're doing and how much they are working and how painful it is for a lot of them to do the job that they are doing because they don't get to see their families, or if they do, it's limited exposure. But from a mental health perspective of how much this pandemic is going and is affecting us emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and how much anxiety we are under in this at this current moment. It's almost like all of us are dealing with generalized anxiety disorder and grief in some ways because of the things that we have lost by being home and by being or needing to be so separated. So I wanted to do a podcast earlier this week because I wrote an article, and I didn't publish it because maybe I'm so new to this that I'm not quite sure which way to go, and I'm sure a lot of people are also doing the same, and whatever article gets published, and the ability to prioritize an article. So I wanted to at least read this article because I think it has a lot to do with where we are today, but also where we were 3 weeks ago, just kind of like, I guess, like an emotional check-in and mental check-in of how far we have gone, almost to a point of some adjustment to it. So, so here it goes. And the way of the article, I called it Coronavirus and Our New Norm. And I wrote it around 3 weeks ago. It was the time where New Jersey, New York, at least I'm speaking for these states, where everything was spiraling down, and the whole idea of needing to work from home and remotely, and kids coming out of school and needing to be homeschooled. So it was all of that in just that 1 week. So there was definitely a lot of chaos and turmoil going on. So this is what I wrote. How do we sit with a feeling of unknown that lasts minute by minute and day by day as we face the ongoing challenges of coronavirus news? This virus has invaded our personal space to the fullest. It came into our television screens, phones, jobs, and homes. We find ourselves questioning and doubting our own abilities. Our strong ego has now become the vulnerable child. We look for comfort and peace and any form of reassurance that things will be all right. We try to remain strong only to be invaded by sudden doubts and unsureness, insecurities. Our jobs have become questionable. Our privacy has become vulnerable and uneasy. Our offices, restaurants, grocery stores, and families are now becoming our instant worry of, will I get sick from being here? And is everyone around me healthy? Our internal dialogue questions if they have been in contact with someone that tested positive. Did they travel? Do they look sick? We dig our noses in our scarves or shirts, pretending to be cold, but in reality, hiding so we don't breathe the air or someone else's cough or breath. Now, mind you, we are wearing masks and gloves today. We avoid touching or kissing because of the unknown. We don't even know if our partners are sick. We tell our children over and over to not touch things, their faces or others, and to wash their hands every 5 minutes. We use hand sanitizers like we are bathing every minute. We are living in fear and teaching fear, and the mass media has not minimized that for us at all. We are conditioned to prepare for the worst and yet stay calm. Hysteria and paranoia has affected most of us, even those of us who are calm, hopeful, and positive. For those of us who are in a medical and mental health field, our jobs and personalities are to teach calmness, minimize anxiety and depression, to be strong and courageous because others need our help. However, we are human and deal with numerous amounts of feelings, thoughts, and worries on a constant basis. Our professions and personalities may just naturally balance it better. This coronavirus has put us in a situation where we teach calmness while managing our own anxiety. We listen to others while listening to our own voice of, don't touch your face, make sure to clean your hands again, what is going on the news, how many people have been affected in the last hour, will I have my job tomorrow, or how do I manage working remotely, not to mention with kids. People have gone from this will pass soon to I should stack up on these groceries. Many of us are trying to be calm, but feel our hearts beating. We stay positive, but fear sneaks in like a punch. You have no idea what corner it will attack you from and what thoughts will come next. We are fearing the separation like that of a parent and a child. Our jobs, hobbies, sports, and routines have become our long and loving relationships that we must temporarily pause. A sudden separation that has no current date of return. We are naturally put in a situation without known prediction. For now, you can plan for tomorrow, but allow your tomorrow to be your today. It will change. Your home or your bed may be your only pre-planned comfort at the moment. Our fear, worry, and anxiety is fully present and needs to adjust. Try not to take your fears to its fullest because this will pass just like a hurricane. It may be lengthier, but a rainbow will rise up high and the sun will let down the rays. You are strong and can survive this mass hysteria. You can rise up again and find comfort in all of your thoughts. Fear and worry may be in charge at the moment, but behind it lies courage, security, positivity, and happiness. So, yes, I wrote this 3 weeks ago as a way to just express where I was at that moment. I think it was also the part of just managing your own anxieties because of where this current situation is. So I figured I would share because I think it has a lot to do where we started versus to where we are today. And with the fear that more might come and how important it is for us today to find some positivity, humor, even in the silliest things that we can do. Balance. I don't know. Can we necessarily balance everything? I'm going to say no, because we are trying to balance too many things all at one time. I think perfection, let's leave it to minimalism, because I don't think perfection can be perfect at this moment. I know I make mistakes, and I do recognize that even with the job that I have or the multiple tasks that I have decided to take is concentration seems to be a little bit unorganized. And I'm okay with that because I know that also has to do with the current situation. I think in a lot of ways, maybe I'm speaking for myself, maybe some others, we are somewhat becoming a little comfortable with working from home. I think 3 weeks ago was a little bit chaotic. We didn't know what to do, where to start. Teachers, managers, employees, I think we were all thrown into it without necessarily a preparation. So I think where we are today, we have become a lot more adjusted towards video calling, chatting, using computer like we've never done before. We use it for many things. I mean, I've seen videos of people cooking, people exercising, being silly, jumping in pillows, ways to get to connect or to be silly, to enjoy life without necessarily needing to step outside. So I've used this, what I'm about to say, example, I don't know, statement, sentence, in many ways, because I feel like it has a lot to do with human behavior, human needs. And I thought about the current situation, the part of being isolated, the part of not being able to step out or to socialize physically, as such a primitive side of us. And what I mean by that, if I'm saying it correctly, is that as infants, most of the time we are home. We are born to stay home. Our primary caretakers are taking care of us, feeding us, changing us, that we don't necessarily have an exposure to the outside world yet. We are not necessarily involved in any of the social activities, or too limited, because we're infants, we're babies, so we could barely do anything. So it's almost like this current situation is taking us to our infantile stage, where home is our comfort, or needs to be our comfort, regardless of the chaos that might be going around outside or inside, because fact is, sometimes we deal with difficult families, partners, kids, you name it. So we are becoming a little bit more aware of what's going on inside our homes, the stressors, the part of becoming more comfortable, like I said before, living inside, to learn or relearn how to socialize with our families, those that have been around our life, most of our lives. So, so I figured I would share that. I shared the article today, where we are. I think it's still scary. I think there's definitely many fears and depression and anxiety and sadness, because where we are today versus maybe 3-4 weeks ago is we have encountered individuals who are sick. And unfortunately, those that have passed because of COVID in very unfortunate situations. We are now dealing with those who are sick and our inability to see them, or us being sick and not being able to see our loved ones. We are dealing with death and not being able to, once again, maybe see families, to support them, to love them, to be there for them physically. So we're dealing with a lot of losses in a moment, and because of those losses, still not being able to be there physically. So lack of the loss, right? So where we were 3-4 weeks ago to where we are today is also, so the loss is not necessarily death, but the part of loss of our external independence, the ability to go to work outside of our home, the ability to be in clubs or sports or interactions, dinners, get-togethers, play dates. So we are grieving the loss of all of that. And there's a lot of emotions that come with grief, as we know. We have shock and anger and frustrations, right? And maybe eventually acceptance. Maybe in some ways more so today than 3 weeks ago. A lot of emotions. So I want you all to be just mindful. Whatever you take from what I am saying today is that we are moving forward and we are experiencing losses and different feelings and chaos, I think, in a continuation. But I do want you all to also know, and I hope this resonates, is that fear and all of these thoughts will always come in. Thoughts just come in naturally. Someone just said the other day, and it was a reminder to me because I use that as well, is that we get 40 to 70, 60 to 70,000 thoughts a minute. I think that's 48 to 51. I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly. We get around 48 to 51 thoughts a minute, which primarily equal to, I think, 40 to 70 thoughts a day. Now, I think that I'm saying that based on a regular non-anxiety day. I think when we suffer with anxiety or generalized anxiety, those thoughts double, if not triple. So holy shit, right? So what I want you to take out of this is that we get thoughts and they just come in. They are uncontrollable. But what we can do is choose, and I quote, choose how we want to react to these thoughts in, quote unquote, a healthy way. Because I think that is important to take out of this. If we go into impulsivity and unhealthy behaviors, whatever those may be, then it may not necessarily be the best for us, and for our health, for our physical health, for our psychological health, mental, emotional. So, a way to deal with emotions. Once again, so I hope what you take out of this is the ability to acknowledge what's going on, choose how to react. This will end. It is lengthy. Yes, it is. And it will be lengthy, and however long this will continue. Like I said, there is no date of return at the moment. Hopeful return, but not specific date of return. And we know that now. So I leave us here, and I hope to come back soon, because I really enjoy this. I really enjoy speaking to whoever it is that is listening, and the fact that I'm able to voice things out myself. So be well and safe.